They're the anti-heroes that we deserve or something. They're Thunderbolts, asterisk. You're probably wondering what that punctuation's about. The movie will tell you eventually. We will not, because this is a non-spoiler review. And that teeny bit of punctuation is very important.
It's true. Yes.
You think I'm kidding? I am not.
Nope.
Come hang out with us, because you know what? Thunderbolts means that summertime is here. Summer used to be like Memorial Day weekend. That used to be the kickoff of summer movie season. And now it's like way earlier. It's like April, May. So here we are. This comes out this Friday. This is an early review for you. We know you're psyched about Thunderbolts. So here we are with them. So subscribe and hang out. Alonso, what's this movie about?
So none of us comply? So what, do we all just punch and shoot?
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is back as Valentina, and she is currently facing impeachment as the head of the CIA. And so she needs to clean up some loose ends. And her loose ends include Yelena, played by Florence Pugh, the U.S. agent, played by Wyatt Russell, Taskmaster, Olga Kurylenko, and Ghost, played by Hannah John Kamen. And without them realizing it, she sends each of them to kill the other ones. And then when they kind of figure out what's going on, they kind of have to sort of team up to stay alive and maybe get back at her. There's also a guy named Bob who pops up. No one quite knows why he's there. Most of all, Bob. Bob doesn't know why he's there. There is the involvement, of course, of Yelena's father, the Red Guardian. Bucky, who is now a congressman from Brooklyn, also gets involved in this because part of Valentina's loose ends that she's trying to cover up is a lab-created superhero named Sentry. And she seems to think that he's going to be the golden boy solution to the world's post-Avengers problems, and also a superhero who will answer to her and only her. But oops, this is not Steve Rogers, who is all gung-ho, you know, let's get her done. Sentry has emotional problems, and those emotional problems manifest in a way that the other superpowered beings who do not think of themselves as a team and don't even really like each other must work together to face. Yeah. So that's what we'll tell you about Thunderbolts. Okay. That is, I think, still not a spoiler.
That was all very thorough and accurate. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. In my review on the film verdict, I said that if the Avengers in 2012 was the sort of perfect movie for that moment in terms of a combination of Obama era exuberance and still post 9/11 anxiety, this movie feels perfectly attuned to 2025 in that everything kind of sucks and powerful people are trying to kill you. But if we have each other's back, we might get through this.
And also talking about what's troubling us, right?
Yes.
If we dare to be vulnerable, like Brene Brown tells us to be, you know, there is strength in that vulnerability into having each other's backs when we need it. Yeah. I was shocked at how much I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I was not sure what to expect, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I went into it because I remember we just did Captain America Brave New World, and we were kind of like, on that. And this late stage MCU has been very, very hit and miss. I think everything since Endgame has been very hit and miss. But this is pretty great because for a lot of reasons, it's actually about something. Yes, you have the snappy banter and all of them tooling on each other, and it's very, very funny. And the Florence Pugh and David Harbour camaraderie, you know, tension is funny, but also meaty. Like there's something of substance there. Yeah. And so what I was so impressed with Jake Schreier directed this. He comes from an indie background. He did Paper Towns and some other films. Is that there's a great attunement to like intimate, serious feelings and like things people go through, which are legitimate, and we don't want to talk about them. And so this is a movie about depression, about, you know, doubt, about your, you know, feeling a lack of self-worth. And the way that
this movie reminded me of an old Varla Jean Merman line where she says, "My mother used to say, feelings are like treasures, so bury them."
And that's something that Yelena says at one point. Yeah. Somebody asked her, like, how do you deal with the darkness? And she's like, you just stuff it down. You just push it away. You just don't think about it. And so how this makes the transition from being wacky, snappy MCU banter, and then, you know, big, serious set pieces. That one chase across the desert is thrilling. Yes. From what I understand, a lot of that is practical. And you feel that. You feel like the punch and the jolt of that and the intimacy of that. But then to take this turn into something really serious and meaningful that is not a downer, but is very impactful, I thought was pretty impressive. You know, some of the jokes don't land. Some of the supporting characters still feel kind of peripheral, not as fleshed out. But really, this is about mostly Yelena and Red Guardian and that relationship. And then you got some Bucky stuff too.
Sure.
You do need to have seen a lot of things going into this, but I don't think it is alienating. I said this in my out of the theater reaction that it helps if you have seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if you have seen Black Widow, if you have seen this most recent Captain America Brave New World, because now we know that Bucky is Congressman Bucky.
Exactly.
Things like that. But I don't think you need to, because there's like just enough exposition to place us where we need to be to follow along.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, you know, yes, will you be rewarded by remembering that, you know, Taskmaster was in Black Widow? Sure. But yeah, I think the movie integrates these characters in well enough where it's not like, oh no, I didn't watch WandaVision, so now I don't know what this Doctor Strange movie is about. This feels like the old MCU, you know, like the sort of fun, bantery, but also cool action sequences, and they're doing it with characters who were all sort of like, you know, I think I said in my review, like second bananas, you know, oddballs and losers. You know, these are all sort of like the characters you find at the back of the refrigerator, but they've somehow put them together in a way that's really interesting and found new life for them and new goals for them in a way that really, you know, it feels effective.
There's some really cool transitions here too. Once we get into some sort of like internal demons, there's some really cool stuff with Yelena in particular, as far as revisiting some key moments in her childhood and revisiting some, you know, things from her past. Like the way it goes from one of those moments to the next is really cool visually. So it's got a lot of panache to it. Louis Pullman's really, really great in this because he is tasked also with a lot of the heavier stuff here. He's going to be, you know, kind of goofy and kind of light for a while, but then there's a lot of heavier stuff that he's called upon to do as well, and does that so well. I always enjoy Julia Louis-Dreyfus in this role. It's sort of Veep adjacent.
Yes, totally. She's building upon her Veep skills here.
Yeah. And I like also, and this is true of like pretty much the entire MCU, the movies in the MCU that I prefer are the ones where the fate of the world is not at stake. Where it's more intimate and more character driven. And so I think that's why I like, you know, Thor Ragnarok, or I like that first Ant-Man or that first Doctor Strange. Like the stakes are smaller and they feel more, if not relatable, at least accessible versus like, oh, this giant thing's going to happen.
And also, I think like the first Doctor Strange, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that this movie culminates in a way that isn't just about who can outpunch the other one. You know, that it actually requires like thought and emotion and different skills and factors brought to play that isn't your usual just like, you know, big wrestling bang onto the thing, you know.
But when the threat comes, like there's a moment that I gasped.
Oh, me too. I don't know exactly which one you mean.
Yes. Visually, it's so effective. It's so minimalist, but it was startling.
And yeah, and not the kind of thing you would think one of these movies would do. Yeah. No,
yeah. And they handled it really well. Tonally handled it really well. Like it was shocking, but didn't seem like gratuitous.
No,
like,
no.
We're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, stay through the credits. There's very lengthy, substantial shawarma. It is long. The one at the end, though, is really well done. It's almost like a little like mini film in itself, like a little short in itself. And it says a lot. So do that. Stay for that. I mean, you always know by now. Do you know to stay through the credits? Of
course, but they're definitely back in town when it comes to like we got several more movies to set up here. Stick around, you know, and they're doing it.
I like the score too.
Yes. Son Lux. The three dudes. I don't really know much about them, but have they done other films? Do we know?
I don't know. Grierson described them as a musical collective, like they're a band.
Okay.
But anyway, I cannot hum any of their tunes for you. But I think what they create here is suspenseful, but in a different way than we usually hear from big MCU or big superhero type movies. So
yeah, they're not like totally throwing out. I was saying, I was in my review, the music and the editing, they don't really rewrite the rules of superhero movies, but they you know, pivot on them in an unobtrusive way that's very effective.
Yeah. Everyone's good in it. Florence Pugh. Always good. David
Always
Harbour.
good.
Always
Florence
good.
Pugh.
Florence
Yes.
Pugh. And we have son of Bill Pullman and son of Kurt Russell.
Oh, so we do. Oh, and Geraldine Viswanathan
Yes, always good.
and Wendell Pierce. So
Yeah,
you know.
it's a good supporting cast. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like an 8.2. This is one of the better MCU movies in a while.
Yeah, I'm an 8.5. Had a great time. Saw it in IMAX. See it in a big loud screen and have some big loud fun.
Summertime, woohoo!
Woo!